I think it's time to go.
From the hills and hollers of southern Indiana to the Lone Star State of Texas, we are the hunters of the paranormal. Truth seekers, mount up.
Hello, everybody. We're live tonight, and we've got a special guest with us. His name is Earl Mangrum. And he is with a group called, I'm sorry, guys, my thing's messing up on me here. Keeps looping on me for some reason.
That's okay.
All right, are you guys there?
Loud and clear.
Sorry,
Yes,
guys. That was a rough
okay.
start.
It happens.
I apologize, everybody.
It happens.
We ready to start our live show here. We've got Earl Mangrum from Beings of Mississippi. It's a group down in Mississippi, and we've got Fort Worth Phantom with us tonight, and I'm Ghost Lee Hunter, and we're going to turn this over to Earl Mangrum and get started, and he's going to take us deep in the woods of Mississippi and let us hear some good tales of some beings down there. So without further ado, here we go. Howdy, Earl.
How y'all doing tonight?
We're doing excellent. Real
Thank
good.
you for the invite to your show.
We really appreciate you coming.
It's an honor you being here.
Absolutely. We really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime, sirs.
Awesome. So how many years have you lived in Mississippi? You lived there your whole life, Earl?
No, sir. I'm from Louisiana.
Oh, are you?
I've been here about 25, 30 years.
Is the terrain similar there in Louisiana as it is in Mississippi, or a little bit different?
It's the same, less the swamps. Louisiana's got major swamps in it. Other than that, it's about the same.
Oh, wow. How far are we talking in miles as those swamps? Are they just like hundreds of miles, or?
Oh, yeah, they'll cover the state. They go forever.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
That
says something right there, y'all.
Did you enjoy being in the swamps, Earl?
That's how I grew up. Me and my brother. Yeah, we grew up in the swamps, hunting, fishing, catching alligators. Yeah, it's amazing.
Ain't nothing like being on the water when the fogs are lifting and the fishing, and you can hear the birds chirping and everything coming to life. It's amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah, you better know where you're going though. You'll get lost in the daytime in them swamps, especially not alone at night.
Now, in the swamps, are you usually in a boat, or do you wade in there sometimes?
We usually in a boat. Yeah.
And what? How deep is the water in them swamps? Is it pretty?
It all depends what part of the swamp you in. Usually we stayed in about 8 to 10, 12 feet of water.
Wow, that's amazing. What is your history with these beings, Earl? How long have you had encounters, and when did they first start?
Oh Lord. I seen my first one when I was a youngin'. I was at my grandparents' property up in North Mississippi, and that'd be the first time we've seen them. I've seen them. I think I was about 7, maybe 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now when you first saw it, were you scared of it, and did you just?
Well, when we first saw it, my grandparents had a farm. They was Indians, and You know, they lived there their whole life. Old wooden plank house, and they had an old barn out back, and of course they grew their own stuff. You know what I mean? They hardly ever went to town for nothing. Um, they had a tree. It was probably shoot 5, 6, 7 feet around in the center in front of their house, and he had it barbed wire fenced off. That's where he used to tie his horses up and stuff and train them. And his mule, he kept his mules. There's a pole barn behind it, and there was a tree line about 20 yards on the right hand side of that property of the barn. And we knew he grew apples. You know, we wasn't allowed to get any because he kept them behind the barn, them old wooden crates and stuff. And we wasn't supposed to touch them apples. And me and my sister, bless her heart, we was up there one weekend visiting from Louisiana, and we decided my grandpa was gone. He was out plowing the fields on the other end, and we decided we was going to go get some of them apples, them big old green apples. And we eased up through that barbed wire fence and took off, and the bull was in, they called it a chute, you know. It was like a lean-to part of the barn. The bull they had a big old Brahma bull, and he was in that chute, and we run around behind it, and he started prancing and snorting and banging the wall. Well, we didn't think nothing about it, and about that time, we heard a tree break. Well, actually a tree or a half a tree, you know, when you're a kid, it could be as big as a truck. It fell in the right-hand corner of that barn, and it was probably 6, 8 inches around, about, 10, 12 feet long. And it caught the corner of that barn on that tin roof, and it scared us. We both jumped, and we didn't pay no mind to it. We halfway to them apples now. We looking for Pawpaw, you know, and we grabbed them apples and headed back toward the barn. We passed the barn, and that old bull was still snorting and prancing, and you know, hell, he had him for years. I mean, you know, we didn't think nothing about that. We snuck up under that barbed wire fence and got to that tree, and about that time, that bull got loose, and here he come chasing us. We dropped the apples, we dropped everything, and we got behind, grabbed my little sister, and we got behind that tree. And about the time that bull, it was probably 25 yards from us, maybe in full stride. My sister screamed and duck-tailed ran toward the other end of that barbed wire fence where the house was. And she jumped up under that fence, and it cut her little legs all to hell. I mean, like a razor blade. And I just knew I was fixing to die. My grandpa was going to kill me for that, you know. And I turned around, and that bull was in full stride. And whatever that was that broke that tree, it looked like a big monkey to us. That's what it looked like.
Oh, wow.
It stepped between me and that tree and grabbed that bull by his neck and twisted it right there. Just bam. It's a full running Brahma bull. So I'd say that's the first time I seen one. You know?
Oh my, that was a big sighting. Wow.
Well, we didn't know what it was, you know, and old people back then in them days, they never told you nothing. You know, they kept it to themselves. They didn't tell nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And later on, we found out right before my pawpaw died first, and then right before my grandma died, we knew he had another patch out back behind that pole barn, or that old barn, chute barn, and he raised watermelons, and he grew cantaloupes, and he had 2 rows of apple trees. Well, my grandmother told us that was for them. That's the only, they didn't mess with that. My papa grew that for them. They didn't cross the tree line. They respected each other's property, if you know what I mean. My papa didn't go in there, and they didn't come over there. You know, they protected them, in other words, you know, I guess vice versa.
Do you
know?
think that's what the apples were behind the barn was for the
Oh,
Bigfoot?
yeah, absolutely. We found that out later. Yeah, yeah.
And how big was this one that grabbed a hold of the bull and swung him to the ground?
Man, we was youngest, but I guarantee you he was, shoot, he had to been 10 foot. Had to be
Oh Lord!
easy.
Lord.
I mean, easy.
Wow.
If you can
Wow.
if you can grab a full stride Brahma bull in mid motion and stop him and twist his neck graveyard dead, that's something you don't want to mess with.
Oh my!
Yeah.
Did it actually kill the bull?
Oh, graveyard dead.
And I bet Grandpa wasn't happy about that, was he? Or Pawpaw?
Well, when he come over there and snatched me by my back of my neck and picked me up over that fence, I just knew I was dead. I wasn't worried about nothing else, you know.
Oh Lord!
And he asked me and my sister, was we okay? And my mama bandaged her little legs up, and he said, I told y'all don't go back there. He said, don't go back there again. You
Wow!
know? And that's all he said about it. You know, that was the end of it. You know,
Oh my!
yeah, he was 6'7". Okay, he was about 210 pounds, slender, but he was stout like a bull, and just the look in his eyes, you know, he could look at you and put the fear of God in you. So we never went back there ever again, ever.
Oh
We
my!
didn't even go to that fence. Yeah. And after they passed away, you know, I had a few deaths in my family, and I ended up with the property. You know, it's almost 4,000 acres. The house is gone, but the chimney and the foundation and all that's still there. That old bull tree, the rope tree, is still there, and but other than that, everything else has done collapsed. You know, but I still own all that property up there.
Oh wow! That's amazing. That's a lot of land, man.
Yes, sir. There's a lot of stuff too.
That's a lot of taxes to have to pay on land too. I bet. Oh my!
Yeah, it's worth it though. You know.
Yes, sir. Do you guys farm that now, or growing?
No, it's no, we don't. I don't mess with it. That property has been in my family over 200 years, so I don't fool with it. I go up there. Yeah, it's a good drive for me. It's about 3 hour ride for me to get up there to it. But I go up there and check it out. Maybe twice every 3 months or so.
Oh wow!
But you know, I'm gonna leave it just like they left it. You know.
Do you believe these beings are still there on that property to this day?
Oh yeah, they still there.
Are good? Do you take them apples or anything like he used to do, or you just kind of let them do their own thing on the property?
I'll let them do whatever they want to do because they protect that property.
That is awesome. That is awesome, man.
Yeah, they protect it, so I don't fool with them. You know, I let them do their thing, man. You know, because they've been there for so long. You know,
yes.
I don't fool with them.
Had you had any interactions with these beings? Have you communicated with them like with sign language or anything like that, or
No.
do you just see them and let them be, and just you go away from them and just let them have their space?
I don't run from them. I respect them highly. If they acknowledge you, you're lucky. If you see one in your lifetime, you're blessed. You know?
Yes. That's the way I feel about it too. It's wow, 4,000 acres, man. There's got to be a whole tribe of them.
It's about 3,980 something. You know, I just rounded it off.
Oh wow. Do you look at these beings as do you kind of look at them as a tribe of beings, or they're just their own species? Is that the way?
Well, I mean, they're a species, but I guess the best way I can answer that question for you, sir, is that they just like people. There's different ones. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I believe they all belong to the same thing, but they just different ones. You know,
Good ones, bad
I'm
ones.
right. I'm following 5 counties now here, and there's a black one. Um, it's a county about 45 miles from me. I go to, and the juvenile. Well, I say juveniles. They're about 5 foot. The red ones, but there's a black one in there, and don't take this wrong or any of your listeners, but it's like he has Down syndrome, or he's retarded, or he's not right. You know what I mean?
Correct. Like they would have birth defects just as
Right. He's
like humans.
right. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
But I can communicate. I know the red ones. There's 2 of them there for a fact that I can actually find if I'm lucky. If I don't see them, I know they're there because I can hear them. You know.
Yeah.
But when the black one's around, there's none of the rest of them. I don't know what's going on with that. I haven't,
Now,
you know.
do you notice? Is he? Does he have any like delays? Like, is he a little sloppier than they would be? Like, like the normal Bigfoot. They're focused. They know what's going on in their environment. Does he like kind of just mosey into the area and kind of expose himself? Basically, is what I'm trying to say.
He's more territorial. Yeah, he's not scared of nothing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
He's not. He don't run from. He don't try and hide. He wants you to know he's there.
Yes. That makes sense. So he's more a little more aggressive than those others. Basically.
Yeah, he's aggressive. Yeah.
Wow. Well, makes sense.
Oh, you can go there in the daytime and it'll give you the willies. I'm telling you, it'll just because of the area, that it's in. It's a dried up creek bed. It's about 25, 30 feet wide. It's about 6 feet deep. You got to walk through that creek bed with trees, and it's eerie in the daytime.
It's like you're in there. It's like you're in their house, and you can feel them watching you.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. You won't make it 10 feet, and the hair on your neck will stand straight up.
Oh yeah, I understand that feeling. I found a little juvenile footprint, and it was in a place just about exactly what you just described, about a 6 foot dried up creek bed, and you can feel them. You can feel them in there. I didn't see them. I didn't see them, but I could hear them running through the brush, cracking and snapping.
Yep, they're there.
Yes, sir.
If you ever hear them whooping at you or hear whoops while you're in there, that's a locator. They locating them. That's what the whoops means.
Locating each other, kind of like
exactly.
A community. Awesome.
They want to know where each one of them's at.
Yeah, that makes sense. That totally makes sense. Now, do you get the whistles too down there?
I get whistles. I get right here where I'm at now. There's a bunch of owl sounds. They can mimic anything in the woods. They can mimic a person. They can mimic anything. Whether people believe it or not, I know from experience they can, but everybody has their own opinion. But we got owls. We had an owl flush here night before last. I got 3,000 acres across the street from me, 70 yards on a dead end road. I got a river that runs all the way through this state, plus creeks, sandbars, and everything else right here. And there's a small group right here now, and there was an owl flush the other night, and it sounded ungodly with owls, and then it sounded too like a bobcat scream. If you ever heard a bobcat cry or scream, that's what it sounded like. And after that scream, the owl stopped. Everything stopped, got totally quiet, and then there was a tree break about 40 yards down the end of the street, and that was the end of it. So I don't know what that meant. I haven't been down there yet, but
But you're pretty sure
I'm so busy. Oh yeah, they probably. I'm sitting outside now. They probably watching me now. I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh yeah. And you know, the people that don't believe in these things or have any understanding of them, they don't live in areas where you got 3,000 acres across the street. They live in the city right next to Subway. You know.
Yep. They never been off the computer and out of that chair and got out in the woods. You know.
Yes, sir. Until you've had enough time out in the woods, you know when you have when these things are around, your spider senses are up, your hair on the back of your neck's up, and you know they're there. When they're there,
you know instantly. Yeah, you can feel it. You know, yeah, absolutely.
I was mushroom hunting one time, and as I was walking back to where I was mushroom hunting, I kept hearing whistles, and they was like paralleling me. They were staying beside me, and I got down in a ravine down in the bottom and started back up to the top, and there was a rock formation down there, and I thought, you know, if these things live underground, I'm going to look and see if I can see some drag marks where they're dragging the rocks out and getting behind them, maybe in a cave that nobody knows about. And so I was standing there and I was looking around, and I saw one little hole, like looked like something could peek out of the hole. Now I didn't see anything peeking out of it because it went back pretty deep, but
right.
I got deathly sick, man. It was just like I got hit with some kind of, I don't know, kind of energy wave or whatever, but I just got deathly sick.
Yeah, it felt like he was going to pass out.
Yes, sir. And so I had to walk up a hill to get back to where the car was. So I just walked.
Sweating a lot?
Yes, sir. And I walked up that hill, and I was almost dizzy, but disoriented kind of, but I just tried to ignore everything that was going on and just walk away slowly and just act like nothing was going on. I didn't let on like I was feeling anything, and I made it back to the car, but man, it was all I could do to get back to the car.
Yeah. I get that. I get that sometimes when I go to one spot, I get that feeling. Sometimes I can go in there and stay. I can go in there 5 or 10 miles. Then other times I wouldn't make it half a mile through there, and I'll get that feeling. Yeah.
And it really makes you feel sick, man. It's awful.
Yep,
I don't wish that on anybody, but
no, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
Have you ever went like hunting or been in the woods at dark and you start to leave, and what happened to me was I had heard you talking about that bobcat scream like thing. Well, it was a scream like that, but it was a scream that I'd never heard before. And it was down probably about 30 yards from a tree stand. And so I waited till I had a lot of dark to get down out of the tree. And because I went back to the house and walked up old logging road, and I got a little bridge that me and my father-in-law built. And I got right on that bridge, and just as I got on that bridge, there was a tree about 10 yards in the creek bottom, and I hear something go knock, 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 and I thought, that's not a bird this time of night. That's not a woodpecker this time of night. So
they ain't no squirrel carrying nothing down there, is it?
No, sir. No, sir.
Yeah. I've heard them all the time, man. There's a controversy about that noise going on. Most people think they carry 2x4s with them and do it on the woods, and I have my own theory behind it because I've kind of seen it. That's all I can say about it. But well, it's percussion in their chest is what makes that noise.
Mm-hmm.
It's the muscles in their chest that makes it.
Wow.
It's like a what do you call it? A lip pop?
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, exactly. But that's percussion in the muscles in their chest.
That totally makes sense.
Yeah, they don't carry sticks with them, man. I mean,
did you see him do that? Did you actually observe one doing that, or is that
yeah. Well, we heard it, and I followed. Come to find out, I thought he was on the north side of me, and I come up behind him, and you could see him. He was squatted down, and every time you hear a knock, his chest would expand like twice his size. You know, I'm like,
Wow.
oh, look at here. Look at here.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
I believe you. That I feel the same way. I thought
Yep.
about the same way about that. That is awesome.
Yep.
Do you see these things in all kinds of different places, or do you? I don't want you to give your locations away, but do you go to a certain place where you know that there's going to be activity?
Well, I go to places that I know where they'll be at, or they went through, but you know they follow the seasons. You know what I mean? They
Yes,
follow
sir.
the creeks, they follow the seasons, they follow the food. You know, but they always come back. They always circle back.
They
You know?
like down here where I live at, where I found that footprint along that creek. There's pawpaws. You know, the pawpaw fruit.
Oh yeah.
And I think they come through there and get the pawpaws.
Uh-huh.
Because if you don't, like around here, if you know, my woods is loaded with pawpaws, and if you don't get out there, like they start dropping around September 18th, and if you don't get out there within a few days that they're dropping, they are just absolutely gone. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. Well, birds don't get it. I can tell you that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You got you some visitors, buddy.
Yes, I do. My neighbor across the street, him and his wife and father was coming down our road one night, and they saw one cross the road, and they said it was huge. It was a big one, and he was heading down to the river bottoms.
I believe. Yep.
Yes,
That's
sir.
a prime spot, man. You must be around a lot of wooded area.
I am. I'm in a lot of hardwood. I live back up off the road about a quarter of a mile, and I got a cornfield in front of me and one to the side, but then I'm tucked into the woods right here, and I got 15 acres. It butts up to probably about 200 or 300, and then it goes just way to the back, probably 2,000 or 3,000 acres across the street. Once it drops down.
Yeah, you're set like me, man. Yeah, there's every day there's something different. You know.
Oh yeah. My
Every
aunt
day.
had something growl at her here, just over the beside our house. She was cleaning out a fire pit, and this thing growled so loud that you know those planes that fly over and spray the fields.
Right.
There was a plane spraying the field, and this thing would fly over, and she'd hear that growl behind her, and it made the hair stand up on the back of her neck. And she hadn't been back. She hadn't been back to my house since.
Wow, that's cool.
Yes, sir. She said
That's
she could feel
cool.
it in her chest.
Oh,
Like-
yeah. There, on the end of my street where I'm at, we was sitting outside under my carport one night, cooking on the grill, you know, having a couple of drinks, and I got bluff charged about 2 nights before that down here.
Oh
And-
man.
All of a sudden, you could see the trees moving, and I'm talking about there's hardwoods and pines here 50, 60 feet high right in front of me right now, all the way around me or more. And you can see the tops of the trees moving. And I kept hearing something, man. I said, damn, come here, look at this. You can see the trees through the moonlight, through the sky, you know,
Mhm.
and you can see the trees swaying. I'm like, damn, what the hell is, you know, you didn't know what it was coming through there, you know?
Yes, sir.
And
You know,
it got to the tree line, and this thing roared, and I won't ever forget it, man. It made a
Oh.
sound so loud. It was probably, let's see, I'm outside right now. It's probably 60 yards from here to the end of the road where the tree line starts on that end. And I guarantee it roared. It made this noise. I won't ever forget it. It was so loud and so deep. It vibrated my insides under my carport. That's how loud it was. And then it was gone. It stopped. We went back the next day. The next morning, I went back because I didn't sleep. You know, I was sitting up waiting on it with my recorders like
Oh,
a dummy. Because, I sat up about 4:30 in the morning waiting on something. Because, you know, if you're gonna bluff charge me like that, you got to do. You're gonna come back. I mean, but he
Yeah.
didn't. He didn't.
Oh,
And I
wow.
found one footprint that was 18 inches long, and that was it. Just one.
Why do you think is there's only one footprint, because I went down to Crypticon down in Kentucky, and I didn't know anything about the one footprint deal, but the one that I found, Bear shed some light on why I only found one footprint. But like the big ones, was there like a rocky terrain there where he made one footprint, and then
No, it was grass. It was all grass and gravel and dirt. I mean, it wasn't nothing rocky.
oh wow, 18 inches. He has a big old
Yeah, it was
boy,
18. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
or big old girl.
Yeah. Either one.
Now, do you think the males are more aggressive than the females? Like
Nope.
Bear said, there's an alpha that's usually the aggressive one that
Are
protects
you
them.
talking about? Oh, you talking about Bear Den?
Old Bear
Oh
Den,
yeah.
big
Yeah. Old Bear Den. Yeah, that's
Yes.
a buddy of mine. Yeah, he's good. He's a good guy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody has their opinion on that, man, but I'm gonna have to lean toward the females because the females are bigger and they're more aggressive. And
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you ever smelt the smell that they let out. It'll make you. Have you ever smelt it?
There was one time I hunted up behind my house, and I would go there and go for walks, sometimes just scouting things out. And I went to walk in that woods, and I was right on the corner of the woods, and this smell hit me before I went in the woods. It was the strongest odor I ever smelled in the woods anytime. And it smelled like, it smelled like death. It smelled like death. And I thought to myself, I'm not, I thought, you know that I was very uneasy, and I thought, whatever's in there, it doesn't need me for company in there.
Well,
and I'm going back home. So I just turned around and left it alone. I didn't go in there.
I can tell you what that is, or I can tell you to my knowledge what that is. Like I said, everybody has their own opinion. When there's juveniles around and the females there, that's a deterrent scent to keep you away from the juveniles. That's what that is.
Well, that makes sense.
After about 20 years or 25 years, I'm like, yeah, that's got to be what that is, because the males don't do that. You know, I've never had a male smell that way. I mean,
have you ever smelt the one area where I found the little footprint? I went in there one time by myself after I'd found it, and just looking around, and I smelled this smell. It was odd. It was like a real strong, musky dog, like a dog smell.
Like a stink wet dog.
Like a sticky wet dog.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And it was coming right down the wind was blowing right down the creek bed, the dried up creek bed, and it was coming right to me.
Yep.
And oh yeah. Do you believe these things they can cloak, like people think, like their fur can bend light or anything?
No, in my opinion, I don't believe that.
Okay.
Because that's just my opinion. They flesh and blood animals. I don't believe that.
Yeah.
You know?
What about the big encounter? One of the big encounters I had, I saw glowing eyes in the woods, and I'm not talking eye shine. I'm talking the eyes lit up. And I've had that happen to me twice.
Was it yellow?
The first set was a yellow, amber colored, and they had black slits in them. You know, like
I've seen yellow. I've seen yellow. I've never seen red. Of course, any eye shine will shine red with a light because of the retinas in your eyes or whatever. You know.
Yes, sir.
But as far as just seeing eyes in the woods, I've seen yellow. That's the only ones I've ever seen.
I've had two experiences with that. I saw the first one I saw was the yellow eyes, and I don't think I explained this the last time, but I was hunting in an area where four ridge tops met, and it made a bowl down in the bottom, and I was within 30 yards of a good shot if anything come off of each ridge. And when these eyes lit up, they lit up probably about 8-9 feet off the ground. And I'm guessing from the size that they look like. Now the light could have made them look bigger than what they really were, but the eyes was the size of I would say between a racquetball size and a tennis ball size. And I know that even elephants' eyeballs aren't that big. You know what I mean?
Right. But what was the distance between them? how wide apart was they?
Let me see here. Maybe 8, 10
8
inches
inches?
apart.
8
Yeah,
inches? Yeah.
10
Uh-huh.
inches.
Yeah, you had somebody watching you.
Yes, sir. And I now this is going to sound far fetched and way out there, but what the message that I got from it was, I heard this message in my mind said, I just want you to know that I'm here. And this
Yep.
thing walked in, and then when the eyes popped up in the dark and when were looking
Walked
at me,
out.
I was so bewildered when I saw it. I wasn't scared. I didn't reach for my shotgun or nothing. I just sit there and looked at it. And when I first saw it, I thought, some deer hunter's come in here and he's put these coal miner lights on and he's messing with me.
Yep.
And
Yep.
but then the weird thing of the eye lights in the eyes, or illuminated eyes, was that it wasn't lighting anything up around it. Like it wasn't lighting the trees up, it wasn't lighting the
Right.
ground up or anything else.
Yeah.
But
It wasn't a light.
no,
It was
no,
eye
sir.
shine.
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
And he just either closed his eyes or turned his head or whatever. But then it walked out, and it walked out on two legs.
Oh yeah.
And and then another time that I saw the eyes, and I actually had an eyewitness with me that they can verify this. They were blue. They were electric blue eyes, but whatever these things were was only about maybe 4 feet, 4.5 feet tall, 4 to 4.5 feet tall. And they would tilt their head like back and forth. You know how a dog's curious?
Oh my
Like
God. I've got a buddy of mine. I didn't mean to interrupt you, man, but I've never said nothing about blue eyes. I have a buddy of mine that's in Louisiana right now, pretty close to where one of my swamp areas are. And matter of fact, he called me about 2 weeks ago and told me he's seen something with blue eyes, and it kept going sideways on him. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what do you mean sideways? He said it was like it was going up and down, up and down.
Huh.
I'm like,
Yes.
what? He said, I'm telling you, man, it was so blue, you couldn't, and it kept turning. It's like it go down, it come back and straighten up, it horizontal, vertical. I'm like,
Yeah.
I hope you wasn't drinking when you was down there. He said, no, but when I got home, I started.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Whatever these things were, they came in on us in the dark. They came around us in the dark, and before we started the day or whatever, we had a buddy of mine. We had a little fire going, and he was going to throw his tobacco away off of his cigar. And I said, can I have that? And he said, yeah, why? And I said, I'm going to offer it. I'm going to make an offering like the Indians do, and say a little prayer.
Right.
And so I offered it and told the woods. I just kind of talked to the woods or whatever was out there. And I said, we know that you guys are here, and we want to have an experience where we see that you're here, and we don't mean any harm. We're not going to do anything. We're not going to use any cameras. We don't mean anything, anything ill against you or whatever. And then I prayed, and I always end my prayers in Jesus' name.
Absolutely.
And
you didn't hear a tree break then, did you?
No, but what happened was it got dark, and I went over the edge, and I told my friend, because I turkey hunt too, and I told him, I said, I can do a turkey call with my mouth. So I told him, I said, I'm going to go down there and shoot off one of them hoot owl, not a turkey call, but a hoot owl call with my mouth. And because I knew that they kind of try to mimic the hoot owl sound. So I went over the edge and did the hoot owl, and we didn't hear anything the first time, but the second time I did it, you could hear something down in the bottom, and it was like they were mumbling, like they was going, rah, 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 and it was two of them, and they was talking back and forth. And so then later on that night, I ended up playing my Native American flute, and I know flute players, they always talk about, but I played it just maybe if something would get curious. And after I played that flute, it sounded like the biggest owl you ever heard up in the tree. That's how when those eyes lit up, that's how it all started. This tree,
you woke them up, man.
Yeah, yes, sir. And I heard whatever that owl made that owl noise slide down the tree. You could hear the tree bark coming. It slid down a tree, and then it hit the ground with a thud, and jumped from one ravine to the next. And then after that's when we started seeing those eyes. But whatever this thing, they were physical.
Curiosity.
Yes, sir.
That's curiosity. You played the right note, and they want to know who's playing that note.
Yes, sir.
That's what that was. Because I'm Indian, man. And I can tell you, there's certain things. I think it's something to do with the native it's something to do with them and the natives, man. Because years and years, 100 years ago, they protected the natives, and the natives, they
Respected
gave
them.
them, yeah, exactly, and they respected each other. They gave them food for their forest friends. That's what I call them, because they could snap you in half at any time if they wanted to.
Yes,
But
sir.
they could sense you, man. They, believe it or not, they can
Yes.
sense, just like a dog. If you mean them any harm, it's over with.
Yes, sir. The best way I could describe the way that those Bigfoot sense you and understand that you're there is I've deer hunted for years, and if a big buck comes in, if you make eye contact with him, if you look at him in the eyes look at him in any way, shape, or form, you may not be moving a muscle, but other than just looking at him with your eyes. But if you look at him, they'll look back at you. They sense there's some kind of energy there that they sense that you're there in the area. And I've killed some nice bucks by not looking at them, looking away or looking the other direction, keeping my eye contact off of them. And, as silly as that sounds, that makes a difference sometimes between
it's not silly, man. You just, it's
yes,
not
sir.
silly.
My father is a part Blackfoot Indian, and I think that's like you said, you were Native, and I've got some Native American in me too. So
yeah, I got some in me. They say can't exist, man. I'm Sioux and Crow, plus a couple more things. So they say to this day, Sioux and Crow can't combine.
Yeah.
So I don't understand that. Plus I got Cherokee, so.
Yes, sir.
I think my tree bark must have parked somewhere down the road, because
Yes, sir. Oh my! It happens.
I'm proud of it.
Something that I've always believed, and I could be totally way off base with this, but I believe that the Native Americans, they have a knowledge about these things that they're not sharing with the rest of the world, and I don't
man.
And I do not blame them, because they are trying to protect the Bigfoot and their tribe.
That's the same. See, man. That's what I was telling David. That's the same thing. I messaged him. I've lost a lot of stuff in my life and a lot of people because they think I'm crazy or whatever. I'm like, hey, bye. There's a door.
Yes, sir.
I'm trying. I know what I have. Well, I don't have them. They have me. But I know what's here. I know what's where, and I do my best to protect them. That's why, I don't like to do the video face part. But anyway, some people know who I am, and they respect that.
Yes,
but
sir.
I mean, I've lost a lot of things in my life because of these beings, man. And trust me, I've lost a lot.
Well,
but
I would just say
it comes down to respect, man. I mean, you have to respect them. They've been here. They've been here way longer. And I mean, it's like the land developers, man. They keep tearing their land. They keep building all this crap. I mean, why you keep building mini marts and apartment buildings and dollar stores in the middle of nowhere? Y'all taking their home, man. Y'all forcing their hand out is what you're doing.
Yes, sir.
And then when they ain't got nowhere to go, then y'all got to answer to that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and the first thing y'all gonna do, I don't mean you. I mean y'all as in them people. Okay,
yes, sir.
Like first thing they're gonna do is get a little posse, like that little guy that opened a bounty on them. Yeah, right. Good luck with that stuff.
Yes, sir.
Go out there and first one you see, you gonna kill or shoot. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they know what guns are. Trust me, they know exactly what a weapon is. If they see one, they're gonna be in a different mood. I mean,
yes, sir.
They've been shot at for years and years and shot.
Because
that's like that guy. I'm not gonna mention his name, but you sound like you pretty much know your stuff. You know who I'm talking about. He killed one, and then he killed a juvenile. If you know who I'm talking about.
Yes, sir. I sure did.
That's a true story.
Yes,
and
sir.
I won't say nothing about it, but I'll tell you this. If I was there, I would have showed him what a shot up his ass looked like. I mean, they'd be burying him right beside him. I just don't believe in that, man, because he said, well, that don't belong there. We're going to kill it. Why would you kill it? You don't even know what it is.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
It survived in this world for over 200 years, man, with no heat, no nothing. They survived, and they still here, and they don't want nobody to mess with them. I mean,
Yes,
I just don't.
sir.
I just don't get it. I don't get it, man.
You down there in Mississippi. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead,
buddy. No, you fine, buddy. Go ahead.
Down there in Mississippi, I was gonna tell you a little something about. I got some roots down there. My grandmother was from Mississippi.
Really?
And yes, sir. And there was my great grandfather. It would be her father. He was a timber estimator down there in Mississippi, and he worked for. Let me think here. My mom wrote it down for me. Sorry, I gotta tell you the name of this place here. It was a logging company. Let's see here. My eyes are bad, and I gotta turn a light on here. The name of the logging company.
Man, you ain't 45 yet, are you?
49.
Oh, are you?
Yes,
okay,
sir.
I'm sorry. We're not on the same page. Yeah, I got
yes, sir.
Where's my glasses at?
Yes, sir. I've got them on too.
Yeah.
The name of this lumber company was called Eastern Gardner Company, and it's now, she said, nowadays it's called Weyerhaeuser Lumber Company. And my grandfather was a timber estimator in there, and they had Eastern Gardner Lumber Company. They had I guess they built railroad tracks into what was called virgin timber back then.
Right.
And my great grandfather told the story about he would go in areas where like humans hadn't been for hundreds of years or whatever, and he come across a family that lived miles and miles back in there that hadn't seen any other humans or had any contact for a long time. So that the size of those woods down there in Mississippi and Louisiana in that area is so vast that there could be anything in those swamps and woods. And that's what a lot of people. And that's what a lot of people don't realize, that make fun of other people that have seen these things. And there's things out there that yet to be discovered. They're a reality. And these people that don't think that they're out there, I bet if you took them and drop them off out there, they wouldn't have a very good day.
No, they wouldn't. But first of all, their cell phones wouldn't work. And second of all, they wouldn't know what to do because they ain't got nobody to hold their hand.
And and there's no refrigerator out there either.
Yeah, no refrigerator, no microwave, no nothing. You're on your own,
Yes, sir. But I thought that would be a little interesting tidbit to tell you your
that is
tonight.
Interesting. You know what county that was in?
My mom said that it was like a whole community. And my grandmother was actually born in a train car. They had like a hospital train car. They had their houses were on a train car. They even had a general store. And they said my grandmother told us that back then that even the lowest man on the totem pole that worked for the lumber company made as good as money as the highest person in the lumber company. And she said they really took good care of their people. But my mom said that the town that sprang up from that logging thing was called Cohea, Mississippi. And she looked it up and found it, the city or town or wherever that's at. You know where Cohea is?
You mean Copiah?
Is it Copiah?
Copiah?
She called it Cohea. I think it was spelled Cohay. My uncle lives in Alabama, and he lived in Mississippi. He lived in Pascagoula for a while. But
I used to live there.
Did you? He had trouble finding it, that town. But my mom did some research on it. So it may be called something now. Maybe it is Copiah. We'll have to do some more research.
I know where it's at. I know where that's at.
Awesome. Yeah. That's awesome, man.
It's like a town. They got a county here called Soso, Mississippi.
Soso.
Yeah, that's it. That's the name of it. And there's nothing there. They have one red light and one store.
Oh, man.
That's it.
I would love to go. I know it doesn't sound very appealing to go there, but I would sure like to go there just because my grandmother was born there. I would love.
Really?
Yeah, I would love to go. I would love to go down there.
You better get there before 3:30 or 4. That's when the store shuts down.
And
they ain't open on that store's over 100 years old. It's still got the screen doors on it.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, got the old Coca-Cola flat box out on the porch.
Yes, sir. We got one of those here up out in the country. It's been there for I think it's been there for 147 years.
Wow.
And it's an old general store.
Wow, that's amazing. I love stuff like that.
Oh yeah, we've got a mercantile here. You know, you hear them talk about the mercantiles. We got a little mercantile down the road, about 6 miles from where I live at.
You're kidding.
I love it. It's one of them old buildings. You know, it's really cool.
Oh man, yep. That's interesting. I like that.
Oh yeah, I do too. And you know, a lot of that stuff is going away and doesn't exist anymore. But that's some history we need to maintain. I love it. I love that history. We got all kinds of old little schools and churches out here that's from the 1800s. It's really neat here.
Wow. Yeah. I got a church on my property. Actually, I got two churches. My papa built one, and I own two graveyards there and two churches. He built a store. It started out as a gas station. It's still got the SO pumps out front, and then they turned it into a store, and it's been closed down ever since. But yeah, I got two of them churches. They ain't been used, and I couldn't tell you how long, man. They're 100 years old. You know.
Oh wow. Do you have any other Bigfoot stuff you'd like to tell us about these beings? And I'd really like to hear some more about them. I'm really interested in this stuff. Like their habits and stuff. Are they? Do you think they live underground? Do you guys have cave systems there or anything like that?
No, we don't have caves here, not that I know of. I mean, I don't know if I've heard that 1,000 times, but. You know, the places I go, you know, that you can see the markings, you can see the tree breaks, you can see the X's. There's no caves. I'm not saying they don't travel and go get to one, you know.
Yes, sir.
But there's none around here. So I really don't know. I mean, they got to sleep somewhere.
I went down to Monster Mart down in Arkansas, Falk, Arkansas, where the Legend of the Boggy Creek, and
I've been there 3 times.
You've been there 3 times? Oh wow!
Oh yes, sir.
The lady that owned that store,
the woman, the guy that sang the song for the Legend of Boggy Creek.
Yes, sir.
His daughter is a friend of mine.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah, she's the one that remade the movie. You know, they remade it.
Oh, did they really? I'm gonna have to check that out.
Oh, it's wicked, man. The original Boggy Creek.
Yes, sir.
You need to see the new version of it. Yeah, she remade it. It's still got the old songs and stuff in it, but it's it's different. It's unique. You know.
Yes, sir. And again, something happened to those people. They saw what they saw down there. And,
ain't nobody. They ain't saying nothing, you know.
Yes, sir.
They they know it's there. It's still there. You know, I mean, that's why I was telling you earlier that they follow the seasons. You know, that's why they say down there it follows the creek. It always follows the creek because of fresh water and food. You know, fish, deer, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have to have water. You know.
You know, and the Indians did that too. They followed the rivers and the creeks.
Absolutely.
That was their main travel. Yes, sir.
Wherever there was water, that's where they was at.
That's amazing.
Did David show you? I sent David some pictures. Did you see the pictures I sent him?
Yes, you did. I was going to mention that. I've tried to upload them and share them, but I don't have the Google Cloud thing that it takes to do it. But I'll work on it. And I'll have it next time we have you on the show, and we'll show the pictures. But the one with the car that's demolished, that is amazing, man. Wow, there was.
Oh, my buddy's truck. Yeah.
Was that a truck?
Yeah, that was.
Okay.
That was a trailblazer.
Oh Lord! Wow! It looked like they got just destroyed.
Yeah. wasn't gonna ever go back. It just felt uneasy in my boat, man. And I'm like, nah, I don't really think it, man. So like an idiot, I took him, and
Yeah.
they already knew. They knew me, Of course, they can sense you, they can smell you, they know you. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
You don't ever wear cologne. You don't ever wear deodorant. I mean, if I go, I don't know if y'all got it there. It's called lava soap, like sand soap.
Yes, sir.
I take a bath. I take a shower. About 30 minutes in that, it kills all your scents, your hair, everything. But they can still sense you. They know you there. But yeah, I took him there, and we was about a mile and a half in, and I started hearing this thumping sound like something hitting the ground with a sledgehammer. And I've heard that sound before, and I knew what it was. And my buddy's kind of like, man, what's that? I'm like, well, it's about time to go. And about that time, we heard that roar that I mentioned to you earlier. And then we started hearing trees breaking and trees. And by the time we got back to his truck, that's what was left of it. And
wow.
So I trust. That's what it was.
Wow.
Almost 3 years, and they ain't put my truck. So.
Yes. Hey, Earl, are you outside walking around by any chance?
No, sir.
Are you there? Oh,
I'm outside, but I'm not walking around.
Oh, okay. My signal dropped on you, and what you was telling about the truck, I lost all of it. It sounded like a robot. I couldn't even hear. I can hear you just fine now. I'm sorry about that. I apologize, Earl.
Oh, okay. No, I'm sitting on the back of my truck under my carport. Cool. I got an airport down here by me, so it might have been an airplane over there or something.
Yeah, they probably have some kind of something. Yeah.
What part you didn't hear about the truck?
I didn't hear. Only thing we heard was the last little part of it about they knew you, and that was all that we heard, and then it went out again. So sorry about that.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I'll be glad to tell you again if you want to hear it.
Yes, sir. I'm all ears. I'd really love to hear it.
They know who I am. I'm sure they do. I know at least one of them does. But yeah, we heard that noise in the woods, and it come back out, and that's what was left of the truck. I broke their trust because I took somebody new with me.
Oh man, that's a bummer. That is a bummer. Will they ever have trust with you again if you go back by yourself, or will they be mad at you?
Well, I finally got it back. It took a year for me to go back, and I've been back. I've been back a few times, about 2.5 years now, and they haven't messed with my truck.
Oh wow, yeah.
So
wow.
I mean, I had something left beside my truck door the last time I was there, but so that tells me, okay, I'm accepted again.
Did they lean it up against your truck door? Or
yeah.
Just put it on? Oh wow.
No, they leaned it up against my door.
Wow. Was it a limb or something, or just something they?
It was a limb, but it had some kind of circle, like a vine. It started out like. It looked like it was 2 vines or 2 pieces twisted into a round circle. And they put that over a tree break and propped it up against my driver's door. I still have that. I don't have the tree limb, but I still have that circle part.
Now, do you, like if they give you something like that, is it etiquette to give them something in return? Or do you just
that means acceptance. No, it just means acceptance. That's what that means.
Where I found the little footprint, I don't mean to jump in here on you, but where I found the little footprint, we went back in there after I found the footprint and looked around, and we didn't find any tree structures or anything else. Me and a buddy, and a year later, a year almost to the day later, we went back in there, and whatever did it, made a tree bend right by the where the footprint was, in the exact same spot. It made a tree bend on a tree that was about 8 inches in diameter and bent this thing over. It was probably about a 20-30 foot tree. It bent this tree over and jammed the top of it in the creek bed. And
was it a loop?
It was a bow, like a bow. It bowed.
Yeah, was it a loop?
Yeah, I guess you could say it was a loop.
That's yeah. They covered a tree and it made a half a circle.
Yes,
that's a loop. Yeah, that's acceptance.
Wow,
that's what that
awesome.
means.
Well, I talked to him the day that I found the footprint, because when I saw it, what came to me was that was a gift. I was allowed to see that. That was a gift, and I was honored to see that. And I talked to him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They know you mean them no harm, man. Like I told you, they can sense that, you know.
Yeah, I've never ever taken a weapon in there, in that area, ever. I never will. And
well, I take one with me, you know, but I don't take it to shoot one of them whatsoever. It's more like for snakes or something like that.
Yes, sir. You guys got water moccasins.
But I keep it hid because, you know, the water moccasins.
Yeah.
Oh, you catch him with your hand, man.
You got water moccasins and rattlesnakes, don't you? And a copperhead.
Oh yeah, you catch him with your hand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you just swing him on out of the way. You gotta be quick.
Have you? Yes, sir. Oh yeah. Wow. Have you noticed any of these areas that you've went into, like, and had a lot of activity? Has anybody went in and logged any of these areas out? Like, or have you had any encounters with authorities or some kind of, you know, I don't know, Men in Black type people, if that makes sense?
Yeah, it does. And yes, actually I have. But nothing ever come about it. They just want to know what I was doing there, and I'm like, well, you know, I'm just riding. I'm just searching. Why are you here? I'm like, well, I'm a researcher, man. This is what I do on the side. You know, he said, well, you have no business being here. I said, prove it. You know,
I mean,
tell me I don't. You know.
Yeah, it's a free country. You can go where you want, right?
And anyway, they followed me, man, forever. When I got out, they followed me forever. I know they run my tag numbers on one of my trucks, and you know.
What kind of vehicle were these guys driving? Was it a dark SUV, or was it a?
Yeah, it was like a Suburban type, blacked out windows. Yeah.
Did one of them have a beard and the other one look clean cut and shaven?
Well, both of them look clean cut, but
did they?
Pretty good size. You know, I mean,
yes,
you know,
yeah, I hear you on that one.
They didn't want me to take a picture of their tag number, which I did. You know, but they didn't like that whatsoever.
Good for you, man.
Whatsoever, they didn't like that. But I'm like, hey, man, we can foot race or we can fist fight, and I'm too old to run. What y'all gonna do? You know, I mean,
there you go. You know what? You being native, like Native American or whatever, you got a right to be wherever you want to be, as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely.
You know, I got a buddy here. I go to powwows up here. And I got a buddy that was the fire keeper. He kept the fire going, the sacred fire. Anyway, he was telling me a story. He's part Apache, and he lived on an Apache reservation when he was a kid. And he had a hawk feather hanging off of his mirror, and he got pulled over in a state forest. And the DNR told him he wasn't allowed to have that hawk feather, and so they took him in. They took him into jail, and he said, "Can I?" He said, "Well, you don't." He said, "I'm Native American. I'm allowed to have this feather." And the DNR said, "Well, you don't look Native American to me." And he said, "Well, what does a Native American look like?" And so he gets to the jail, and he says, "Can I have my one phone call?" And they said, "Yeah." Well, I guess he called he's got a card that shows he's a member of the tribe, and he called somebody on that that he had the number of, and he told that guy, he said, "These people want to talk to you." And he handed the phone to that DNR, and they chewed him out on the other end of that phone, and they released him. He had to they had to let him go. And that DNR looked at him and says, "Well, you don't look Native American." That's all he could say.
Hey, I bet they gave him his feather back.
Yes, they sure did. He not only had a hawk feather, he had an eagle feather too, and he kept eagle. He kept the eagle feather in a cedar box. They have a special box that they keep them eagle feathers in.
Oh yeah. It's a sacred. It's sacred to them, man.
I found some arrow tips, that were like the Indians made, the ones out of rocks. They flute. I found some in a field, and I showed him. I handed them to him one day because I thought, when I was at the powwow, I thought, well, he'll like that. That's that'll be interesting to him. And I handed it to him, and he looked at that bag, and he looked at me, and he says, "Why'd you give this to me?" And
it's probably a burial site.
Yeah, and that's what he said. He said one of these has bad energy on it, and he ended up doing a ceremony for me. And he brought that eagle feather, and he smudged those arrow points. And I'll tell you what, this is God's honest truth. The bad one, it squealed, man. You could hear it squeal, almost like a growl. And he wrapped it up in a piece of paper and said, "Don't open that up. Don't release that back in." But what I did with it is I took it back to the woods and did my own ceremony, and I buried it back in the woods and give it back.
That's the best thing you could have done, man.
Yes, sir. I took every one of them that I had and did that, because I thought those people that were here, the native people that were here a long time ago, that I should have never took it. I should have left it where it was at. But
you didn't know. I mean, you didn't know.
Yes, sir. You was talking about that gift you received by your truck with the stick leaning up with the circle on it. I was out this has happened to me twice. One time, when I first had moved down here, a buddy of mine, he was a Vietnam vet. He took me along the river, and we were walking in on this trail. It was a well beaten down path, and we walked in, and there wasn't nothing on this trail. And the size of how big a pawpaw is, and if it falls out of a tree, you can hear it thump, right?
Absolutely.
Well, this thought popped up in my mind, and I thought, man, because I seen these trees with these big leaves on it, and I thought, I wonder if those are pawpaw trees. And I didn't have my property here where I've got them now, but I thought to myself, man, I sure would love to see one of them pawpaws, what a pawpaw looks like. And I'm not kidding you. We walked right back out of the same trail that we walked in, and there was a pawpaw laying right in the middle of the trail. We'd never heard a thud, no nothing. It didn't fall out of a tree. It was placed right in the trail where you had to walk over to see it. And I thought that was a gift. Something gave me a gift. And then that also happened to me here in my woods. I walked in on a deer trail because I was scouting, early season, and I was looking for buck track and buck sign. And I walked in on this deer trail, and I went to go over a hill, and I thought to myself, boy, I'd sure like to find a piece. Find these fossilized. They look like a fossilized cactus type thing here in my creek, but it's really a root is what it is. It's a fossilized root. But anyway, I walked down the hill, and I stopped at the edge of the creek, and I turned around and started to go back up the hill, and I had that thought in my mind. Boy, I'd sure like to find one of those fossils. And I was looking down the creek. I didn't see anything. Turned around, went right back up the same deer trail, got about halfway up the hill, and there in the middle of the deer trail that I just walked down, and there wasn't nothing there, is laying a piece of fossil, laying on top of the leaves.
Wow.
And, yeah.
That's cool.
Yes, sir.
That's cool.
But they do gift you like that. I'm pretty well convinced that those are gifts.
All right. They absolutely. You know what you got?
What's that, buddy?
You have mind speak, man.
Well, I've heard of that, and I think you're right about it, and I know that sounds.
You do have mind speak because I can go in the woods and I ain't crazy or nothing, but I can hear them. They speaking to me in my mind. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's hard to describe, man. A psychiatrist's office will bankrupt you trying to roll you out on that kind of stuff. But
it's more than just it comes to your mind. It's like a thought that comes to your mind, but it's coming from somewhere else, something else's words. And when you get it, in your soul and your spirit that it's
exactly
it's a knowing.
You can feel it, and it's instant, man.
Yeah.
You don't have to think about it. It's instant.
Yes, sir.
You got mind speak, man. That's rare. I got it. I have it, but I talk to them when I go in the woods. I speak to them in my mind, and
yes,
you got it. That's wild. That's cool.
Yeah, I'd never tell people that I've got that mind speak stuff, but
I wouldn't
like
either. They think you crazy like me, man.
Yes, sir. But we're not. We are not, though. That's
no. I'm a knower. I'm not a believer. I'm a knower.
Yes,
just
sir.
like you are. See,
Yes,
and
sir.
people that think you crazy, they've never seen one. They've never interacted with any. They've never been in the woods. They never baited a hook with a worm on it. You know what I mean?
That's right.
They
never been so deep back in the woods it took you a half hour to an hour to get there.
Ooh, or 3 or 4 hours, yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh my gosh, and you know what? Here's the thing about it: if those things wanted to get us when we were that deep back in the woods, they would have got it. They would have got us, but we were allowed to go in there.
Exactly, they accepted you, man.
Yes,
you know why? Because like I told you, they can sense if you mean them any harm. If you go in there with your mindset, and that's the key word, mindset. If you go in there with a gun and you looking for one and you searching for one and you're gonna kill one or you're gonna shoot one, bad shit's gonna happen to you.
Yes,
I can tell you that from 40 years of experience. I can tell you
absolutely. You go in there.
You go in there with your soul and your mind free. You know what I mean? And you don't mean them any harm. Just acknowledge that you're here. Like me, I mean you no harm, man. It's all good.
The way I've always looked at it when I went in the woods it was always a spiritual thing for me, and to this day it's a spiritual thing.
It is a spiritual thing.
That's my church.
Exactly.
That is my church. That is the church of the earth, and where I am connected, and that's where I belong.
Exactly.
And my soul knows it. I'll share something with you that happened to me during deer season this year. It happened about maybe about 3 weeks ago. I was deer hunting. It was during the last part of bow season, and till the gun season came in, and there were 15 deer standing out in the field I was watching, and was coming out to my left. But ever since I've deer hunted, since I was been a young man, I've had this ability to where I knew when the deer were coming and where they were coming from, because I would sense it. I could feel it. I can't explain it other than I have this sense and sixth sense to know where they're at.
I totally understand what you're saying.
Yes, sir. And so for a half hour, as I'm watching these deer, I kept looking to my right, which was being more towards my house, between me and the house. And I kept looking to my right thinking, there's something that's coming up there. I can feel it, Yep. And so about, I don't know, probably a good 15, 20 minutes before it got real dark, 2 does come running down in front of me, and they're just stomping and blowing and snorting. And I thought I hadn't even moved. I hadn't moved, and the wind was in my favor. And I thought, there's no way they've winded me. And I thought, what the world's going on? So I turned and I looked down to my right where I could feel that something was coming. And here come a bobcat. A bobcat come right out, went about middle ways out in the field, and it stopped and it turned around. And it started meowing, and I thought, "What? That's weird." And so then it come back, and I went to the edge, and then it went back out again and started meowing again. And I thought, "What in the world's going on here?" Well,
it's scared.
Well, it came back again to the edge, and then here come 2 bobcat kittens coming down the edge of the field. And I looked at it and I thought in my mind, I thought, boy, I sure wouldn't want to get between that mama and those babies. And you know what? And you know what happened? Those two babies, believe it or not, come right down the field, come right up underneath my tree and started climbing my tree. She comes down the field. Yes, sir. She come right down the field and she sit down 20 yards in front of my tree. And I thought, well, it's getting real sporty. And I thought, I don't know what I'm going to do here. So I stood up. I stood up my tree stand, and it was one of them 2-man tree stands with the seat on it. And when I crawled up in there, I could see where something had kind of shredded the seat. And so I'm looking down at them, and I thought, I better do something. So I stood up and I kind of moved my feet so they could see me. And they shot down that tree, and they started running down in the weeds down along the edge of the field. And she sit there. She sit there. And so I peeked out around the tree, and I made eye contact with her, and I looked her right in the eye, and she started going, growling. And I thought, she's fixing to come up here and tear me up. So I thought, I've got to do something. So I just put my hands out. I showed her my hands, and I said, listen, I said, nobody's going to harm you or your babies. You're safe here. I said, I'm not going to bother you. Nobody's going to bother you. I said, now go get your babies. And she turned, believe it or not, and run down the field after her babies. And she did growl at me as she run down the field, but she didn't try to attack me.
Wow.
And that's a true story. That's
cool.
Yes, sir.
That's cool, man. Wow.
But that's the thing. If most people, if they would have got nervous or whatever, that could have turned into a bad situation, because if they see
real quick in about 5 seconds.
Yes, and she'd have tore me up. She was probably 35, 40 pounds, man, and she'd have tore me up. Oh,
shoot, man. But by the time you pulled the draw, she'd been up there on you.
Yes,
sir. So fast, man. You know, they're incredible. Especially
at 20 yards. But
are we still in the air?
Yes, sir. We're still on the air.
Okay. Well, I didn't know, man. So I'll keep talking.
Yes, sir. We're an hour and 17 minutes in. My buddy, he texted me, David. He lost signal, so he's over in the chat room with us.
Oh, he's lounging.
He'd been having some problems with his internet there. It was kicking in and out, and we apologize for that. David is
ain't no big deal.
David is an awesome guy. He's not. I say he's not the co-host. Me and him are both the hosts on this show.
Right.
Yes, sir. He really appreciated you coming on, and really enjoys your knowledge and all the stuff that you've told us. Only reason I mentioned that about the cat was I kind of, mentally I had to stay focused, and it was like I had to feel the energy of that cat and let her know that I wasn't a threat, basically, is what I'm trying to get at.
Exactly. Wasn't a threat. That's right.
Yes, sir. So
if you wouldn't have did nothing, she'd been up that tree stand probably.
Yep, she sure would have.
Because that's her babies, and what does mamas do? That's just like the Squatches. What do? They can protect them babies,
Absolutely.
And you see one, if you're lucky enough to see one, there's about 3 or 4 more behind you and around you that you'll never see. I keep telling people that all the time. I'm like, no, man. I'm like, okay. All right, then. Go on out there and see, bro.
Absolutely.
Don't call me,
Yeah. That shows that that's possible, with the Sasquatch, the beings, those beings, they, if you have good intention and you let them know your intention, then possibly they're going to leave you alone. A bad situation can turn into a good situation in that case. That's why I mentioned that.
If you're, I got you. Ain't no problem. Yeah, you're right. I don't know if they'll leave you alone, but they will follow you. They,
yeah.
I mean, shoot, man, I honestly have no words to describe them. I mean, there's no words to describe them. They're incredible, man. I mean,
Yeah.
One of the last good. They like people. There's good and there's bad. I mean,
it's like
it all depends how they perceive you. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. They're one of the last wonders of the world that we got. One of the great mysteries that we have. And I think that
and
I want.
everybody's got answers for that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Where they how they involved, where they come from, you know, and all that. But I have my own theory, but of course everybody else has theirs, and
Mm-hmm.
I respect that, you know, because it's just an opinion, because nobody knows. There's no expert in the field of them, none
Yeah,
whatsoever.
exactly. And when you think you know everything or you know something about them, you learn that you don't know anything.
You don't know nothing. You're back to kindergarten.
Yes,
you know?
sir.
You know,
Here's what I feel about these things. That like you said, there's good and there's bad and all that. But I feel that there's things that we can learn from these beings to make ourselves better human beings.
Absolutely. But the only problem with that is the society we live in.
Yes, sir.
You know, if they can put their damn cell phones down and all that crap and get out there and enjoy nature, man, you know, maybe they'll learn something. Maybe the land developers are, you know, okay, well, we don't need this for $5.8 million to build this apartment complex or whatever, you know. They don't understand the impact of what they're doing to nature, you know.
Yeah, but then they'll be the first ones to rush to judgment and tell us that we're making too much trash or burning too much gas.
Hey, amen, bro. Amen. That's right. That's exactly
like it's our
right.
fault. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're not on their level. You see.
We're not in their club. We're not in the club, but we're paying for it.
Yeah, we're paying for it, but I won't ever be in that club. You know,
yes, sir.
There ain't no way, man.
Yes, sir. I don't want to be in that club either. I've met a few of those nasties, and I don't want nothing to do with them.
That's a good word. I was going to tell you another one, but I won't. But yeah, you're right. That's a good word for them. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They gonna see what the fire means, you know.
I'm amen, brother.
Yeah, they gonna see what that fire means. Gnashing of teeth. Yeah, they gonna find out. And it's all for the mighty dollar, huh? Yeah. What about all the people and the animals and everything else that y'all ruining in the world, in the woods, and you know, y'all taking away nature, man.
You know, me and you,
so y'all can make a fast dollar. You
know, me and you, we don't own any businesses that's making pollution and poison and everything. But you know what? They've got the technology. They have the technology that we wouldn't have to be polluting everything and living like we're doing. But they're never going to let us have it. They're going to
you know why? You know why? Because they're not going to be billionaires, man.
That's right. You know, at the end of the day, even though they've got all that money, they ain't no different than us. And in the end,
man, and my daddy told me a long time ago. He said, "Son, a rich man and poor man have one thing in common." I'm like, "What's that, Daddy?" He said, "We both put our pants on one leg at a time."
Yes, sir. My buddy that was a Vietnam vet that I just lost a couple years ago. I really miss him. He was a good mentor to me. That. I appreciate it. He used to tell me that money was good for two things: starting a fire and wiping your ass, and it won't buy you breath back when you need it.
Amen. Amen to that, bro. That is so true, man. That is so true in reality. I love that. I love that. That is right.
Yes,
That's right.
Yeah.
Most people they see money, it's all money, but hell, look at the world now, man. I mean, it's millennials, you know what I'm saying? It's all these beboppers, and they don't know nothing about woods. They watch YouTube videos and go buy them a $350 gun at a sporting store and decide they want to go deer hunting, you know, and man, they, you know,
I always used what I had.
Yeah. All means necessary. Use what you got, you know.
Yes, sir. You
people
know,
like that, they just disgust me, man, because it just ruins nature. It ruins, you know, it's just, it's not natural, man. It's not natural. It's just, they killing it, man. They killing it.
You know, I've always been this way ever since I started fishing. You know, I know people that have the latest and the greatest fishing equipment, but I always used what I had. And I did just as good as everybody else, sometimes even better.
Exactly.
Not bragging, but it doesn't take money sometimes.
I agree, man. I agree.
Yeah.
I'm the same way, bro.
Yes, sir.
How much that fishing pole cost you? $300. Shoot, I got a zip code 303, man. All right, I'll meet you out there, bro. You know.
Yeah. Yes, sir. You're
I
exactly
bought,
right.
I bought a $15 roll of new line. You know. I mean, come on.
Yes, sir.
Shoot.
Yes, sir. You do a lot of fishing down there in Mississippi?
Yeah, I do fishing. I don't hunt no more, but I do a lot of fishing, man. I fish year round. I catfish.
Do you?
You know?
Oh man.
I don't eat nothing with scales on it besides a snake.
Well,
But
there you
other
go.
than that, that's all I catfish all the time.
You do a flat? Hey, you get flathead or blue channel cat?
I love the blue channel cat, man.
Do you? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
We got some up in a strip pit up here where I live, and they look like sharks. They're huge, man, like 4 foot long, big blue channel cat, and the water's so crystal clear you can't even get close to them.
Oh man, don't that make you sick?
Yes, sir. I thought about using some limb lines out there and going out and trying to catch some. That's a project I'm going to yet do. I can assure you of that.
You talking about yo-yos?
Just a limb line, just tying, spider wire to just a tree limb hanging over and drop it down.
Oh, you need some yo-yos, man. Y'all don't have that there?
I know what a yo-yo is. I used one in the Bahamas with my buddy,
Okay.
Bud. It just, you can, it's like on a spool, right? It's the yo-yo,
Yeah,
just
it's
a
spring
spool.
activated. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Oh yeah. My buddy, when we went to the Bahamas, I got to go. He was the Vietnam vet, and he lost his driver's license, but he had his own airplane and stuff, and he would fly. he thought, well, hell, they took my driver's license away, and this was before, even if they took your driver's license away, you could still have a plane. Well, he
Damn,
decided,
that's my kind of guy right
Yeah.
there, man. I'm telling you. So,
yeah,
load up, let's go.
yes, sir. He said, you know what? He said, they took my driver's license away, but by God, I'm going to buy me an airplane and I'm going to fly it. And then I'll get me a pilot's license. And he sure did. He flew all over the place. He flew all the way from here to Colorado, all the way down to the Bahamas and Mexico and everywhere else.
Wow.
And he'd flip them off as he flew out off of his property over town where they took his license. He'd flip them off out the window.
I don't blame him. That's just making a statement, man. That's all that was.
Yes, sir.
Let me say hello to him.
Yes, sir. If life gives you lemons, make lemonade, right?
That's right. That's right, man. Wow,
Awesome.
That's my kind of guy right there.
Oh yeah, he was an awesome guy. He was a great mentor. He sure filled in a lot of blanks for me. He used to tell me that God will give you anything you want. You just have to meet him halfway.
Yep. You just got to have faith, man.
Yes, sir. He told me a story about a Bigfoot when he was a kid. His old man had come to town where he used to live at, and he lived along the Wabash River down past Vincennes, Indiana. And he said this old man had come to town. He was a man of few words, and that he didn't really trust a lot of people or like to talk to anybody. But he said, if this man,
that sounds like me.
yes, sir. He said, if this man talked to you and told you something, you could believe him. And his family
you better listen
told him
to
that.
him. Yep.
And he said this old man told him one time, he said he was fishing down on the river, and he said this Bigfoot come down along the bank on the other side away from him, and it was noodling. It was reaching its hand up under the bank trying to catch catfish.
Yeah, we do that here.
Oh yeah. But that was a sighting from down in Vincennes, Indiana, down in there. A lot of strange stuff goes on down there.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. There's a lot of sightings going on, man, that, people don't want to get ridiculed about,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's sightings happening, every day, probably, and nobody wants to talk about it because they don't want to be judged or say they're crazy or,
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a sad state of affairs, but
it is, man, but it's reality.
Yes, sir. I mean, and that's been set up. That scenario and that whole deal's been set up by the powers that be to make people look like they're a fool so that nobody will buy into it because they don't want the genie getting out of the bottle, and once it does, it ain't going back in.
Oh yeah, there's I know a lot of influential people, you might say, and they fed up with it, and they doing their own thing right now, and and I don't blame them for what they doing, but You know, the government can't control people. People make the government. The government don't make the people.
Yes,
you
sir.
know, and they trying to block a lot of stuff, and it all comes back down to the mighty dollar, man. You know, they tell you and preach to you what you want to see, what you want to hear, so they can make a buck. You know, and they don't care about nothing else but that dollar.
No, and you know what they'll do? They'll create a problem, offer a solution, and make a profit off of it.
Yep, and then sell you the medicine to cure your problem.
Yes, sir. They sure will. They'll create the disease and sell you the medicine to cure it.
That sounds like bye, don't it? Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud?
I thought we were supposed to keep this family friendly.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It slipped. It slipped.
Yeah, that's okay, buddy. I'm right there with you. Oh my gosh. Would you have ever thought that things would have turned out the way they've been or the way they are? Oh my gosh. And people just laying down and taking it, man.
Fear, man. Society is fear, man. My daddy, if they ever done that or ever got stuck by one of them fake needles, my daddy would have jumped up out of his grave and beat the britches off me, man.
Yes, sir.
I'm telling you, shoot. Come on. We didn't have that problem 20 years ago. We didn't have that problem 10 years ago or 5 years ago. And now all of a sudden we got all these problems and all these diseases, and come on, man, the people need to wake up, you know.
Yeah, it's all an agenda. It's all been planned out.
It's been planned out, but wait till they see what's coming. You know, that's all I say. Wait till they see what's coming.
Absolutely. Wait till they see what's
coming. It's coming because I know a lot of people in certain places. It's coming. You know, ain't nobody failing anybody, brother. It's just, it's coming. But anyway, it's kind of like Bigfoot. It's coming.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you ever seen those Bigfoot silhouettes that that people have out in their yard?
Man, I got 3 of them. I got a 4-foot one. I got a 6-foot one. I got a 7-foot one, and I'm waiting on my 12-foot one.
Oh man, the 12. That'll be awesome.
And they all cut metal. You know, I paint them myself.
Yeah. Oh wow. I've got I got a wooden one. It's like a full sheet of plywood size one. You know, pretty good size. And I need to do that out of plywood because it'd be a lot cheaper than me buying these damn metal ones, man. Yes, sir. You know what I did with that thing? You're gonna think I'm a fool, but I made a mount and a bracket that I could put it in the back of my truck, and I rocked 3 American flags on that dude. He's got a pole like he's carrying an American flag, and I drive around town. Yes, sir. I drive around town with that flag and all them flags on my truck. I got 2 big.
You got a picture of that?
Yes, I do. I'll send it to you.
Man, please send me that picture because I got a big 4-wheel drive extra cab I just bought for my squatch hunting. That's the only thing I use it for.
Hey, I'll tell you something.
I would love to put that in the back. Oh man, please send that to me.
I sure will. It's badass. I also not only did that, but I mounted it's a programmable horn with 4 settings on it, 4 different things. You can program it with your computer. And I put the Ohio Howl on there. I've got a clip of Leonard Nimoy describing the Bigfoot. And then I've got 2 other growls and the whoops. I downloaded the whoops in there. So when I'm driving down the road and there's people standing out, I hit the whoops and I whoop at them, and here's this big American flag carrying Bigfoot going down the road.
Oh, I love it, man. I love that. How can I get that? How can I do that?
Well, what I had this rails that run on the back of my the bed of my truck on each side.
No, I'm talking about the downloads.
To download it to you. David sent me your phone number, so I'll text it to you from my phone to your phone.
Oh, so that would be awesome, man.
Yes, sir.
That would be awesome.
You know, I'm so ornery with it. What I like to do in the evenings, we got like 3 bridges around here that crosses a major highway, and I go drive real slow across those bridges, and sometimes I'll sit up there and just let those flags blow in the wind, you know?
Absolutely.
I'm proud of it. I'm proud of them, man. I
am too.
Yes, sir.
I
I'm
am
proud
too.
of that flag, and I'm never
Shoot,
going to stop
yeah.
being either.
No, man, you've got to send me that stuff, please.
Yes, I sure will.
Oh man, oh my God, yeah.
It's fun, man. You get all kinds of reactions. I get the middle finger sometimes, but it's usually the Karens giving me the middle finger.
Yeah, you did throw them a bag of Cheetos, they'll be all right.
Yes, sir. I get more honks and thumbs up than anything, though, and people just love.
Absolutely.
You should see their eyes when they drive by. Their eyes get real big, like they're really seeing a Bigfoot.
Oh my God. Oh my God, man, I love it.
And one of the cool things about it is, like, up here, especially in the evenings when we run with that truck, you run down along a cornfield when the sunlight's just right, and it casts a shadow on the corn, and it looks like a Bigfoot running through the cornfield with a on the edge of the cornfield with a American flag, or a flag.
Oh wow, that is cool.
Yeah,
that is cool. I never thought about that.
Yeah, I got some pictures of that too. I'll send you if I can. If
my wife's
got them
brother.
on. I sure will. Hey, would you care to wrap this up? We're at an hour and 35 minutes, and if I go over that, I'm gonna it's gonna take me a while to download it, and I'd sure like to upload it tonight. This has been a wonderful ride, man.
Great. I hope I didn't disappoint y'all, brother. Yeah.
No, you didn't.
There's a lot more I can tell you, but yeah, man, I loved the conversation. Thank you for inviting me and talking to me. And
I appreciate it. It's been an honor having you on here, and we'd love to have you back if
anytime, brother.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Well, I'm gonna get off here, and I appreciate everybody that came in and watched the show, and we'll catch you on the other side. All right, buddy?
All right, that sounds great.
I'll send you those pictures, okay?
Thank you very much.
I thank you very much, man. I appreciate you.
Anytime, brother.
Yes, sir. Good night, buddy.
Good night.